Hey y'all, it's Ron. Since getting the Nikon Z50ii Mark II, I have really been enjoying that, and I want to test it out further with my lenses that I have. So I have probably about 5 lenses that I actually want to do testing with, besides the 2 kit lenses that I bought with it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a playlist on the channel. So if you want to go in there and check the different lenses that I'm testing out with the Z50 Mark II, that's where those videos will be in that playlist. So in today's video, I'm taking the Nikon Z50 Mark II out to do some testing with one of my lenses. The lens that I'm using today is the Nikon 12-24 AFS f4 DX lens. Now this lens does not have stabilization in it. It does have AFS, but it does not have stabilization in it, nor does the Z50 Mark II body. So I'm going to test that lens out today on a little photo walk and determine how well it performs with the Z50 Mark II. Now, I'll tell you what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a stellar performance of this because this is the same sensor that I had in my D7500. It's the same sensor that I have in my D500. So they reused the same sensor in the Z50 Mark II of those 2 camera bodies. So I'm expecting at least as good a quality as I was getting with this lens on those other 2 camera bodies. Now, I'm not going to bother doing different aperture tests and that kind of thing. What I'm looking for is maximum sharpness in the lens and how well it actually performs and how well the colors render on this camera body. So I already know that the 12-24 f4 is at its sharpest at f11. So that's where I'll be shooting today, is at f11. The camera settings, I'll tell you what those are in just a minute when I get out of the car and get ready to start shooting. Now, I came up with the idea to do this lens testing with this camera body because I have several lenses that I can use with it. I have the 12-24 that I'm using today, and I also have a 10-20 AFP DX lens, and that one does have VR on it, okay? And that's an F-mount lens. It's a DX lens. I also have my Z-mount lenses. I got the 24-120, the 14-30, the 50 millimeter, and the 180-600. So all total, all those lenses will work with that camera body. So I just stopped at this church here in town, and I've taken some photographs of it before, and I just thought I would try it. The sun is really shining bright on it. So I've got good lighting, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. So I did a 12 millimeter shot and a 24 millimeter shot, and I'll show you both of those in the video right now. So it looks like I'm going to be shooting at 1/500th of a second at f11, and the ISO is going to be around 200, okay? If that changes too drastically, I'll let you know. I may have to change my shutter speed just a little bit. So they've been working on this building right here, the county archives, for quite a while, okay? And I've taken some photographs of it while they were working on it and renovating it. It's looking pretty good. So I took a few shots there, and I'll show those to you in the video right now. I like this building right here, especially with the evening light on it. You can look down this hallway, and it has these shadows and what have you down through here. Well, I just did a couple close-up shots up there of a brick wall at 12 millimeters and 24 millimeters, both at f11. And I'll go ahead and show you those too. So let me show you what the Z50 Mark II looks like with the 12 to 24 and along with the FTZii adapter. Now it is significantly longer than the 16 to 50 kit lens, but you got to remember now you've got a 12 to 24 f4 lens on here, okay? So there's something to be said about that. So I did a previous video, the one I did down in Pikeville, Tennessee, and that one I did with the 16 to 50, okay? And you can go into the description of this video, and I'll put a link to it there, and go watch that video after you get done watching this video. Okay, that series of 3 photographs of that gazebo, they were all 3 at 24 millimeters, f11. All I did was snap a photograph, walked a little closer, snapped another photograph, walked a little closer, snapped another photograph. Now this is an iconic landmark right here. This used to be at the intersection in town a long time ago. It actually sat in the middle of the road and let you know the distances to all these places. Okay, I guess that's enough photographs to compare this lens with this camera body. And when I get home and process these, I'm going to do a final wrap up of what I actually think about the 12 to 24 coupled onto the Nikon Z50 Mark II. I'm going to give you my assessment, okay, of the Nikon Z50 Mark II and the 12 to 24 combination, okay. First off, let me talk about the lens. The 12 to 24 f4 is a very nice lens, okay, from Nikon. I have used it for a number of years on my crop sensor bodies, on my D7500. I think I used it on the D7100 also before I bought the D7500, and then ultimately the D500. Now I've tried it out on the Nikon Z50 Mark II to see how well it performed. As you can see from the photographs, it did very well. What I was really particularly happy with was the color rendering of the photographs, especially when you look at the sky and the clouds and what have you. I had to shut the door. My wife's out there banging pots and pans in the kitchen. Especially when you look at the colors of the sky in the photographs and the color of the brick and the stonework that I took photographs of. It just does a really nice job with that. So how much bigger is this lens? When you put the FTZii adapter on here and you add the lens to the front of the camera, you're right at 5 inches, okay? Well, when you look at the 16 to 50 kit lens, it's about 1.75 inches long, okay? And if you extend it out, okay, like this, it gets longer, okay? So, yeah, it's right at 2.5 inches long, okay? One thing about the 12 to 24, it does not extend out, okay? It's internal. It's an internal zoom, okay? Internal focusing. So it does not move at all when you try to zoom it. That's another plus for that lens. Anyways, this is a AFS f-mount 12 to 24 f4G ED, okay? ED glass, extra dispersion glass. When you compare it to the 50 to 250, they're both identical length, okay? The 50 to 250 is actually 4 3/4. Actually, it's 4 3/8 inches long. And then you start getting into some of the other Z lenses, like the 24 to 120, you get into longer lenses. So, you know, if you're looking at lengthwise, okay, if you're trying to do street photography and you're trying to be stealthy, this might not be the lens for you because it does stick out quite a bit. But what I'm trying to say here is this is a very capable landscape photography combination, okay? If you would like to look at the raw images that I have produced today from this camera, I'm going to make those available to you. You can download those from my Google Drive. I will put a link to that Drive folder in the description of this video. So go down there and download some photographs and take a look at them for yourself, okay? So this is the first of the series of videos I'm going to do on lens testing for the lenses that I own. The next one is going to be on the 10 to 20 AFP DX lens. And just as soon as the weather clears here in Tennessee and I can get out and do some photographs with it, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a review on that lens and how well it performs with this body. My name is Ron Durant. I am a photographer in East Tennessee. If you got some use out of this video and you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up, like, and share it with your friends, okay? Helps me grow the channel in a positive direction. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.